Welcome back to the channel. My name is Usman. Today I'm going to be doing a comparison between the H. Upmann Magnum 50 versus the H. Upmann Magnum 50 Gran Reserva cigar. Now, the Gran Reserva was launched this year at the festival in Havana. I managed to get hold of a few, so I thought this was a good opportunity to do this comparison, especially because of the fact that there is a huge difference in price between a standard and a Gran Reserva. Now, the difference between a Gran Reserva cigar and a standard production cigar is that the tobacco in a Gran Reserva cigar has been aged for a period of time. This particular cigar, it was aged for 5 years. So the cigars themselves are not necessarily aged. So you can't just take a Magnum 50, age it for a few years and call it a Gran Reserva. It's not really the same thing, although for many people, what's the difference? But technically speaking, it's not the same thing. A Gran Reserva cigar is using tobacco that was harvested, this particular one anyway, tobacco that was harvested in 2019. The tobacco was then aged for 5 years and then they roll the cigars, and that's what makes a Gran Reserva cigar. So that's the difference. And obviously because of that, Habanos has put a massive price tag on it. It's more than 10 times the price of a standard production Magnum 50. The Gran Reserva, I think, is going for more than £500. A Magnum 50 here in the UK will run you somewhere between £35 and £50, probably a lot less expensive in Europe as well. So the difference in price is huge, and I wanted to see what these cigars were all about, see what the Gran Reserva is when it comes to actually smoking it. So, looking at the cigars, obviously there's a difference in terms of appearance. The bands are slightly different. On the standard Magnum 50, the bands are separate. On the H. Upmann Gran Reserva, the Magnum 50 band and the H. Upmann band have been merged together, and a Gran Reserva band has been added on. So in terms of presentation, it is a nice looking cigar. It is quite pretty. The box looks really nice as well. So presentation wise, Habanos generally does a fantastic job, but I want to know what they're like when it comes to actually smoking the cigar. And obviously, if you're wondering whether it's worth the money, the answer is no. It's not worth the money. If you're gonna buy a Magnum 50 cigar and you're gonna spend or get a Gran Reserva and you want to spend more than £500 to see if it's worth the money, that's not how it works. It's a luxury product. These products are luxuries. There's no looking at it from a perspective of value makes no sense. But I still wanted to see what these cigars were all about, and see if there's that much of a difference, see if there's a big enough difference between the Gran Reserva cigar and the standard production Magnum 50, in terms of enjoyment, in terms of smoking it. So let's get on with this comparison. I'm going to start off with the standard production Magnum 50, and then tomorrow I'm gonna smoke the Gran Reserva, and I'm gonna put that video together and make it into one video. But start off with the Magnum 50. Let's cut this, light this, and get straight into this comparison. So the Magnum 50 that I have over here, the standard production one, this does not have a lot of age on it. It's straight off the shelf. I think 2024 is the box date. So I did not get an aged cigar because that would defeat the purpose of doing this comparison. We're comparing how much of a difference aged tobacco from Cuba makes versus a standard production Cuban cigar. If I aged this cigar, then I would have had to age the Gran Reserva as well in order to keep things fair, because we're testing the aged tobacco aspect, not the aged cigar aspect, if you know what I mean. So that's why I'm getting one straight off the shelf. So I'm just smoking through the first inch of the Magnum 50, and in terms of construction, no complaints whatsoever. The draw's perfect, the burn is perfect as well. The ash looks, it's tightly packed, so I don't have any complaints in that regard. I don't know if that's coming up on camera, but hopefully it should. But the cigar's performing quite well in terms of construction. In terms of flavors, started off with this mineral, kind of like metallic minerally type flavor, which I'm not a fan of. I'm going to be honest, I don't particularly like that, but that's faded and now it's working extremely well. I'm getting this almost like a citrus, coffee, toasty spice flavor, and it's like a coffee, it's like a citrusy coffee flavor, and that's working really well for me. I wouldn't say fruity, it's more citrusy, which I guess is a fruit, but you know what I mean. It's not like berries and whatever, it's more like a citrusy, sharp flavor along with that coffee, earthy, spicy flavor, and it's working quite well. It's very mild, very comfortable. And it's what I imagine. It's exactly what H. Upmann Magnum 50 cigars are like. I've smoked so many of these. I know what to expect. But yeah, this is smoking very well, tasting really, really nice at this point. I'm enjoying the hell out of this. This is a damn good cigar. Moving on to the Gran Reserva cigar, and the wrapper leaf on this cigar looks a lot nicer than the standard production one. Even the print quality on the band is definitively better than the standard H. Upmann Magnum 50. So the attention to detail is definitely something that I appreciate on this particular cigar. But let's get into it. Let's light this and see what the Gran Reserva is all about. So just smoking through the first inch of the Gran Reserva, and this has started off really savory. It's meaty, it's spicy, it's peppery. This is quite heavy. It doesn't have a lot of strength, but the flavors are really saturated, very saturated. That spiciness is quite heavy. I mean, it's a lot spicier than what I would normally expect an H. Upmann cigar to be. And that savory note, again, very heavy. However, just as I'm coming towards this first inch, it's starting to transition, it's starting to change, and the flavors are becoming a little bit more interesting. I gotta tell you, the standard H. Upmann Magnum 50 started off a lot better than this, but this is changing into something which is quite interesting. I haven't really got down to the flavor profile of what this is changing into, but like the last few puffs that I took on this, I was like, this is different. This is definitely different. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to getting through this first half and seeing what this is all about. In terms of construction, perfect draw. The draw is a little bit firmer on this one, but in the best way possible. I like the draw on this particular cigar. The burn, no problems at all. It's a little tiny bit wonky, but I never knock off points when it comes to the burn. Yeah, beginning of this cigar, definitely different. It's very, very different. Coming to the halfway point of the Magnum 50, and this cigar is tasting gorgeous. This is such a nice cigar. Like, when you get a box of cigars, there's always going to be like a few which taste incredible. I think I got lucky because this is the one that's tasting absolutely incredible. Beautiful flavors. That citrus note is working extremely well. That coffee note is working extremely well. The spiciness has increased a little bit, but it's not in a bad way. That spiciness is working really well with the overall profile. In fact, every time I put this cigar down, every time I'm not smoking it, my mouth is watering. That's how amazing this cigar is tasting. I really struggled to keep this cigar down. I'm smoking this quite a lot, very quickly. This is a damn good smoke. Like, wow, this cigar is performing incredibly well. Yeah, construction wise, no problems, no complaints. Draw's perfect, burn is perfect still. I haven't had to touch it up at all. This is like the perfect version of a standard production Magnum 50. You pick it up off the shelf and they still smoke so well. This is what a Cuban cigar is all about. This is why I thoroughly enjoy Cuban cigars. This is the perfect example of it. In terms of body, still very mild, but man, this is a cigar. Coming to the halfway point on the Gran Reserva, and this cigar, in terms of construction, perfect. The draw's perfect, the burn is perfect, no complaints in that regard. When it comes to flavors, it's similar to the Magnum 50. Has that citrusy note, has that coffee-ish type flavor. It's got that earthiness as well, but this is a lot spicier. It's spicier, there's that peppery note which is really strong. and that peppery, spicy flavor is really saturated. It's almost overwhelming to the rest of the flavor profile. And in some ways it works. Like, I'm enjoying it. But I just think that if that spicy, peppery flavor was just dialed down a little bit so that the rest of the profile could breathe, this would be far more enjoyable. It's just a little bit overwhelming. The flavor notes are just a little bit too saturated, and it's enjoyable, but it's just a bit too much. Like, the cigar just needs to chill out a bit, you know? So yeah, definitely enjoying. It's different but similar. There's a lot of familiarity between this and the Magnum 50 or the standard Magnum 50. It's just dialed up. Like, everything's just dialed up a little bit too much. And some of you may like that. Some of you may like a cigar which is very heavy on the flavors. You take a puff and, you know, everything's there, right in your face. Strength-wise, obviously, it's an H. Upmann, so it doesn't have a great deal of strength. It's got a little bit of a kick to it, but a lot of that kick is just from the flavors. I mean, like, if there's any strength that I'm feeling, it's not strength of body, it's more strength in flavor. Because, like I said, everything's just really, really heavy on this particular cigar. Coming to the final section of the standard Magnum 50, and this cigar has been absolutely glorious. What an incredible smoke. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm still enjoying it. Like I said, every time I stop smoking this cigar, my mouth just continues to water because it tastes amazing. And this is just a standard production off-the-shelf cigar. And you know, it's such a good smoke. I really cannot fault this cigar. Construction, flavors, absolutely perfect. In fact, at this point, it's a little bit heavier. It's not strong. It's not strong at all. But the flavors are a little bit heavier. That citrus note has faded. It's now a little bit more heavy. It's more earthy. It actually, you know, it actually tastes like what a humidor smells like. Like, you know, when you walk into a really nice humidor and you get hit with that beautiful aroma, it's kind of what this is tasting like, and it's really good. And these cigars are not crazy expensive. I mean, yes, Cuban cigars generally pricey anyway, but relatively speaking, this is not a crazy expensive cigar. Like I said, standard production, straight off the shelf. It doesn't have like crazy amounts of age on it, just regular cigar, and it's such a damn good cigar. It tastes fantastic. I'm a huge fan of H. Upmann anyway, and I think the Magnum 50 is a fantastic smoke on any given day. But this one in particular has performed brilliantly. I mean, yeah, this has been such an enjoyable smoke. I want to smoke another one. Like, straight after this finishes, I'm going to pick up another one and I'm going to smoke another exactly same Magnum 50 from the same box, because this is so good. But yeah, standard production. You know, this is one of the things I keep saying. A lot of people look at these standard production cigars and they think, oh, you know, it's just going to be whatever, they need some age. No, straight off the shelf, performs incredible. They smoke fantastic. This is what a Cuban cigar, in my mind, this is what I want from a good Cuban cigar. Pick it off the shelf and just smokes well. That's what I like. And this has been incredible. Coming to the final section of the Gran Reserva now, and in terms of construction, still no complaint whatsoever. Draw's perfect, the burn is perfect. I haven't needed to touch this up at all, so perfect in that regard. Same as the standard production Magnum 50. So construction-wise, both cigars, brilliant. In terms of flavors, this is settled down now. It's far more relaxed. Around the midpoint, it became quite overwhelming. Like, the flavor profile was just way too saturated. At this point, it's actually quite similar to the standard production Magnum 50. The flavor notes, the profile, very similar. A little bit of citrusy note, earthy, heavy coffee flavor. I would say that this is a little bit stronger than, or quite a bit stronger than the standard production Magnum 50. But at this point, flavor-wise, it's actually really enjoyable. Very similar to the standard production, as I said. But if I were to compare this to the standard production, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I prefer the standard production. The standard production was just an incredible cigar. Tasted incredible all the way through. Thoroughly enjoyed it. This one had a few blips. Nothing negative per se. It's actually quite a personal thing. The only thing I can say, which is objective, is the fact that they're different. They're definitely different. Like, this is a different cigar in a lot of ways. It's very saturated, and I don't know if that's going to be a good thing for some of you. For some of you, that might be exactly what you want. You might prefer something like that. But I really, really enjoyed that standard production. The standard Magnum 50 was just ridiculously good. And some of you may say, well, you know, you can get a really good cigar in a box of 25 or a box of 10 and so on. And, you know, you might have some variation because they are handmade products. But when a cigar costs this much, I mean, this is more than £500 a piece here in the UK. If a cigar costs that much, you expect every single cigar to perform at the best level, consistently. So I'm not going to use that excuse of it's a handmade product. It can vary on this particular one. I think that at that price point, it needs to be perfect every single time. Having said that, objectively, I can't say that this is worse than the standard production. It's just different. It is definitely different. It's a complete different beast of a cigar. There's familiarities between the two. There are certain flavor notes which are shared between the standard and the Gran Reserva, but this is a different kind of cigar. It's heavy, it's saturated, and, you know, I think that in certain scenarios, this could be an incredible smoke, depending on your mood or something, you know, depending on where you are. I think that you could probably enjoy this more than the Magnum 50. Is it worth the money? No. I mean, don't be silly. This notion of value or this idea of saying which one's worth the money, it doesn't make sense. These are, you know, this is a luxury product. So that concept doesn't make sense. It's not worth the money. That's not what this is about. But it is interesting, and if you're looking for like just a straight conclusion, yeah, standard production every day. For me, you know, I love Cuban cigars. I love standard production Cuban cigars. I think they're some of the best cigars I've smoked. I haven't really come across super expensive cigars that I've thought, that was ridiculously good. That was definitely, you know, better than anything I've ever smoked. Generally speaking, I have that reaction to a lot of standard production cigars. They are incredible smokes. So for most people, I don't think you're missing out. I really don't think you're missing out on these cigars. I would happily take one off the shelf and smoke, well, not this one. I would happily take a standard production off the shelf and smoke them. No problem. Love them. This one, I'm thankful. Don't get me wrong. I'm very grateful that I've been able to try something like this. But would I go out of my way to purchase this cigar? No, never. It's not going to happen. You know, it's just not something that appeals to me. There's definitely, you know, there are definitely people out there who are going to be looking at this cigar and are going to be interested in it. What I can say is, as I said earlier, is different. So if you want to give this a try and you've got the money to be able to buy cigars like these, then yeah, give it a try. I think, you know, it's something interesting to have a go at, but I'm not gonna be buying these. I loved that standard production Magnum 50. That was an incredible smoke. This one, it was interesting. So yeah, that's the comparison between the H. Upmann Magnum 50 Gran Reserva versus the H. Upmann Magnum 50. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, share this video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Thank you.